Mr. Speaker, today I rise to address a matter that affects the lives and livelihoods of many in our community. The time taken to navigate our planning system, particularly regarding building permits. From homeowners seeking renovations to small businesses aiming to expand and developers envisioning their next opportunity, the message remains consistent. The process can feel too slow, overly rigid, and at times unclear. We understand the public's frustration with the planning system, whether perceived or real. These frustrations are genuine. Mr. Speaker, I've heard these concerns firsthand, and as the minister, I take them seriously. However, I also want to speak plainly to say this. I believe in the professionalism and dedication of the team at the Department of Planning. They are not the enemy in this story. They are central to the solution. Like all of us, they are navigating the pressures of high demand, limited resources, and an evolving public expectation of service delivery. Mr. Speaker, as of today, 372 building permits remain open with an average age of 165 days. Some are much newer, some are significantly older. We have found that the main pinch point is not the planning approvals process itself, but the building permit process, where technical details, interagency coordination, and inspections come into play. However, let's also be honest about this. A significant number of delays stem from incomplete applications submitted by agents, as well as the time required to obtain follow-up information. Currently, 59 of these applications are effectively awaiting responses from agents with an average age of 170 days. The youngest of these being 20, the oldest being 481 days old. Mr. Speaker, this is not about assigning blame. Rather, it is to highlight the importance of shared responsibility. We cannot build an efficient system if applications arrive incomplete, and despite requests for missing information, remain unchanged for weeks or even months. This situation adversely affects everyone, particularly those whose files are ready to proceed but are delayed because of these incomplete applications. That is why I've asked the department to explore ways to separate complete application submissions from those awaiting information, so we can keep the queue moving forward for those who have met the requirements. I'll also lay this marker down here. I fully support the rejection of incomplete submissions that have waited a specified time frame with no response. This would mean that those applications would need to be resubmitted and started over. Since my appointment as minister responsible for the Department of Planning, I've devoted countless hours to reviewing data, reading policy statements, listening to public feedback, and drawing upon my own experience as a former agent who submitted plans to planning before entering full-time politics. Numerous ideas have been promoted and discussed over the past few weeks. I would now like to address some of the ideas we plan to explore and aim to implement as swiftly as possible. Mr. Speaker, I need to address a public misconception. Some have questioned how certain applications are approved, especially when the name of the director appears on the approval letter. Let me be clear. Except in exceptional circumstances, typically when the director is acting as a plans examiner, the director of planning does not personally see or vet applications. Planning approvals are granted by the Development Applications Board or by delegated planning officials in the case of permitted development applications, commonly known as one-day permits. To avoid this confusion and to protect the integrity of the department, we have instructed that approval letters indicate that the decision is made by the department or by the Development Applications Board rather than being attributed solely to the director. This is a matter of public clarity and institutional accountability. Now, Mr. Speaker, let me outline key improvements the ministry is exploring together with the department to modernize and streamline the system. 1. Boosting permit processing capability and internal reorganization. With only one-time permit processor and one supervisor, the team was overwhelmed. The director has brought in 2 experienced consultants, one working full-time, the other part-time, with a third looking to be added if necessary. This immediately expands the building permit review bandwidth and is already reducing backlog. The department is currently implementing its internal reorganization and actively driving recruitment. In recent months, as mentioned a few days ago in the budget debate, 5 new staff members have been onboarded. Number 2, a competent persons scheme, or CPS. Legislative amendments are in progress to permit the introduction of regulations for the CPS. This scheme will initially enable certified solar installers to carry out installations without traditional inspections, supplemented by casual visits by planning inspectors to ensure compliance. Other trades will be incorporated after the concept is tested and capacity within each industry is expanded and confirmed. 3, exploring revised building permit review system. We're actively exploring a new review model that matches scrutiny with risk. Track 1, certified fast tracking. Applicants endorsed by registered engineers, structural, electrical, and mechanical, can be fast-tracked with minimal review. This empowers professionals and it streamlines project approvals with expert oversight. Although this is typical of commercial applications, extending to residential applications could allow building permits for residential developments to be processed more quickly. Track 2, DUI and minor works. Homeowners undertaking small projects such as fences or sheds could use a simplified form and a checklist-based process. 4, expanding self-inspections on residential projects. Self-inspections, already a standard practice with commercial projects, allow qualified engineers to inspect their own projects and subsequently submit signed documentation. We are seeking to extend this practice to residential projects on an opt-in basis. This decreases the reliance on the limited pool of government inspectors and assists in keeping construction on schedule. Number 5, the one-day permit review system. Small-scale works should not be delayed for months. We are considering reinstating dedicated review days during which all relevant agencies, planning, health, and building collaborate to assess minor projects in real time. We're also evaluating the GDO, or General Development Order, to determine to expand what type of projects qualify for this fast-track treatment. Smarter vetting through AI technology. According to data from the Department of Planning, a significant percentage of applications submitted are initially incomplete. This results in prolonged, frustrating cycles of back-and-forth conversations between agents and the department. To break this cycle, we are considering the introduction of AI tools that screen applications on the front end, identifying missing data before it enters the review pipeline. Number 7, Mr. Speaker, is the soft refusal reform, commonly allowing common sense to prevail with applications. Too often, worthy applications are rejected due to minor conflicts with the Bermuda Plan, only to be approved on appeal at a later date. A policy to address this is being advanced through the introduction of a new tool, ministerial waivers. In straightforward cases where the merits of the proposal are clear, but minor conflicts with the Bermuda Plan arise, upon request from the Department of Planning or the agent, the minister will be able to issue a targeted policy waiver that permits the application to proceed as usual to the Development Applications Board for their review and approval. This reform will save time, reduce paperwork, and avoid unnecessary appeals. Number 8, better communication and service access. To address public frustrations about unanswered calls, delays in callback, and clarity on file status, we will look on how we can introduce dedicated office hours for in-person consultations, using smart online query forms to get inquiries to the right people, and tracking response timelines to improve service. This isn't about building permits, it's about rebuilding trust. Mr. Speaker, we are not just improving a process, we are restoring confidence in a public service function that is vital to our economy. I would like to thank the Director of Planning and her team for their ongoing partnership, professionalism, and willingness to evolve. I also extend my gratitude to the many architects, contractors, engineers, and homeowners who continue to work with us and challenge us to do better. These reforms are just the beginning. Our goal is simple: a planning system that is clear, fair, timely, and responsive to everyone. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.